Okay, so I am live over on my second channel, which is not typically where we go live, but today we are, and we're just going to chit chat about makeup and some of the brands that I love. I figured it would be something fun to do. Now, remember, if you can, make sure to like this video. Hi, Latrina. It's good to see you. So as you can see, I got my hair done. It is hard to tell on this camera, but it is red again, and it's short. I'm loving the new look. I wanted something different, and I haven't had short hair in what it seems like forever, but you know, wanted something different. But you know, we talk a lot about makeup over here because, you know, it's my favorite thing. But with that being said, you know, I wanted to kind of talk about some of my favorites as far as makeup goes. Because it seems like there's always something new coming out. I mean, my goodness, I just got a new brushes and a new palette in today. Thank you, Linka. But yeah, it feels so good. You know, whenever you get a haircut, how healthy your hair feels, and it's like nice and soft. Thank you, Coralie. Hi, Maria. Hi, Henvier. So, anyways, I kind of wanted to talk to y'all about some of my favorite makeup brands because especially in the past year, I've been on a journey. Perfect. I always worry about pronouncing names. Alinka is sometimes, you know, especially I'm from the South, so things can come out wrong. But part of the thing is, you know, I have been on this journey for independent makeup, indie makeup this year because I am wanting to support small businesses. You know, I own a small business. Some of you may or may not know. But with that being said, you know, I love the small where people put their hard work and their love really into the products. And plus, I have really gotten bored with mainstream makeup for the most part. I mean, as much as I like a nude look sometimes, I do not need the same palette 20 times over. You know what I mean? And some of the brands that really excite me, and some of them are bigger, but they're still independent brands, but that have really kind of caught my attention, that keep me intrigued. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about today. Because I know, you know, I'm not the only one who's like this, where it's like, what else is going to come out from them? So probably number one on that list is Cleona Cosmetics. Cleona makes the most beautiful, beautiful multi-chromes. It's what I have on my eyes right now. They're expensive, but they are amazing. And like the first time I bought some, I bought like 10 shades to try. I was like, okay, this should be enough to hold me over. Well, I got those and loved them so much that my husband bought me the whole glitter multi-chrome bundle and the vibrant multi-chromes. Got those and loved them. Now I'm waiting on my iridescent multi-chrome glitters and the deep iridescent multi-chromes. So I'm slowly but surely getting the whole collection because I thought I would be happy with a small amount. But because they are so good, I'm not just happy with a small amount. Coralie, you really need to try it. They're so good. They're expensive, but they're so good. But I mean, you can see, even in this lighting, you can see the shift to my eyes where it goes from the orange to green. Maria, my favorite foundation and concealer. I will honestly tell you that my favorite foundation is probably the Beauty Blender foundation, and concealer is the Maybelline Age Rewind. But for me, I have pretty normal skin. I don't have a lot of fine lines. I have some, but I don't have super oily skin. I don't have super dry skin. I don't have a lot of things that I'm trying to cover up. So, you know, I'm fine with the light coverage foundation. The one thing I don't like is I don't like anything that's too matte, especially under my eyes, because that's my problem area. Because I am, you know, 37 years old. I hate saying that, but it's true. You know, this area, that's part of the reason why I wear my eyeshadow so far down, is because it helps hide the wrinkles. Because I don't like using a lot of powder. Oh, thank you, Colleen. So, Cleona is definitely at the top of my list. I'm always interested in whatever comes out from them. I mean, I just think that they're such an interesting brand. Oh yeah, hand VR. Wait, that's the thing about it is that, you know, in the way that I look at it is I've got kids that are older now. Like my oldest is 20 and my youngest is 13. So I'm just now starting my life, I feel like. But Cleona, another one that's always up at the top there is Melt. If you haven't tried Melt, the thing I love about Melt is their color stories are always so unique and innovative. You know, between the Gemini palette, which really, I mean, like whenever they released the 27 palette, it was like, oh, it's a warm neutral palette. Don't really need it. Which was their first palette because they had done everything before in stacks, which the stacks were cute, but I'm not spending $60 on 5 eyeshadows. I say that, but I just talked about Cleona Cosmetics, and I do that all the time now for them. But like matte shadows, it wasn't worth it to me to spend $60 on it. So, with that being said, Melt, whenever they released that Gemini palette, that was the first one that caught my eye because I love a good grungy green, and it seems like everything else that they've released for the most part has been super interesting. Even if the formula hasn't been my favorite, like the Millennial Pinks, the color story behind it is interesting. And that's what I like. It keeps me on my toes. It makes me want to branch out and try new things, which isn't something that I would always do. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I adore Melt. Yes, the Gemini is my favorite Melt palette by far. And I cannot wait to see what they release for holiday this year because the ones from last year were so good. The Muerte and the Vita palettes, awesome. But because I loved the Gemini so much and everything that I got since then, even the ones that I wasn't going to originally get, such as the 27 palette and is it the Impulsive palette? I think it's the Radioactive palette, the Neon palette. I wasn't going to get those, but because I am a completionist, I had to purchase them. So now I have all of the Melt palettes. Another brand that typically keeps me on my toes that I absolutely adore, that's an independent brand, is Pat McGrath. Her stuff, again, is pricey, but the special shades that are in there are so phenomenal. And I would definitely recommend if you're looking at getting a Pat McGrath formula to be able to try those special shades, I would definitely look at getting the quads because I know she's going to come out with some for Christmas. Those are only $65 for 4 shades, but you get to try that special formula without buying one of the big mothership palettes because those are $125. Because everyone was excited for the new Pat McGrath, the big 18-pan Celestial palette that's coming out tomorrow. But that doesn't include any of her special shades, which is really what I think draws you in for Pat McGrath. So if you're looking at trying it, I would recommend trying out one of those quads because they're gorgeous. Another brand that I really, really love, and I want to hear from y'all too, what brands intrigue you the most? Give me Glow Cosmetics. Their formula for their foiled, it's almost like that same dusty, shiny feeling that Pat McGrath has. are gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. They're so, I mean, I can't even say, I mean, I bought the vintage rose. It was like because I love the color story, not thinking it was going to be anything spectacular. It's a $37 palette. And it has quickly become one of my favorites. Like I bought the grunge palette because I loved it so much. And I'm going to purchase more. I haven't tried JD Glow, Coralie. I need to. I definitely need to try JD Glow. But I'm slowly branching out more. Like, I mean, well, not slowly. I don't dip my toes in whenever it's time to try something new. I'd go for a full-on deep dive, and I'm purchasing everything that I can. Because, like, right now, like, there's so many brands that are independent that are releasing Halloween palettes that I am just scooping up because that is, like, my jam. I love dark, grungy kinds of looks. But Give Me Glow, their formula for their mattes, their formula for their shimmers is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I mean, again, there's something that I want to see what's going to come out next. Yep, Colleen, I am not a half butt person, you know, I'm trying to keep it PG because like if I'm into something, I'm into it. I'm going to try it all. And plus, I'm lucky in the aspect of my husband buys me, like if I won't buy a makeup item for myself and I'm interested, he's purchasing it for me. Yes, all these makeups are available online, Mary Jane. And I have videos about a lot of these brands too. And I follow them all on Instagram because, you know, that's a good place to see what's new coming out. Another brand that I love is Midas. Midas Cosmetics. I loved the palette that they did with Smoky Glow. Beautiful, beautiful palette. The Lemonade palette is stunning. And then I loved whenever they went and did the 4 face palettes with Neon MUA. So they had the, what was it? The noon, the dusk, the dawn, the noon, the dusk, and the midnight. So it was bronzers, blush, highlights, contour for the whole gambit of faces and skin tones, which doesn't seem like much, but a lot of times for people of a deeper complexion, there's no bronzers available. Like Nima Tang is one of my favorites to watch. And watching how she has to deal with trying to find a bronzer. So something like that coming out, especially from an independent brand, was like, see, if they can do it, these big brands can do it too. Kaleidos is awesome. Their shimmers are gorgeous, Coralie. So, Midas, again, something new, something different, something innovative. That's kind of what I look for. Another one that I wasn't sure I was going to love, Sydney Grace. Their eyeshadows tend to want to blend themselves. And I got into it for which one? Midas. Midas is Midas. Sydney Grace is awesome. Absolutely awesome. The first time I tried it, I bought the Mel Thompson Tiny Marvels palette. So good. And like the shades just blend and the shimmers are just gorgeous. Now I know that brands offer which one? Give Me Glow, because let's see, I've talked about Give Me Glow, Midas, Sydney Grace, Pat McGrath, Melt. Let me know which one. But yeah, I need to try more single shadows. My thing is, and I'll be completely honest, like I could own all the single shadows in the world. I just don't use them. I like to have eyeshadows in a palette that I can pick up, open up, and look at, and then be inspired by that color story. I'm good at mixing and matching colors, but I prefer to have a color story that inspires me. That's just my personal preference. I know everybody's a little bit different. And I would save money if I could, use single shadows because, if you look behind, those are not books. I've been asked that before. Are those notebooks or there's like journals for you? No, that is eyeshadow palettes. And that is well over 200 eyeshadow palettes. And the thing with me with eyeshadow palettes is like I declutter. Like if I don't like it, I get rid of it. My daughter has a collection of probably over 100 palettes because of stuff I've given her. My sister-in-law, probably 50. My mother-in-law, who hardly wears makeup, probably has 50. Because if I don't like it, or if it's too bland or boring, I'm like, I'm going to get rid of it. There ain't no point in me holding on to it. Just because I want to try something, that doesn't mean I need to keep it in my life. I try to keep the things that are special, or if it completes a collection. Because if it's something I love or a brand that I love, I like to have the whole collection, which is sad. Like with Pat McGrath, I have almost all of them except for some of the 6pan palettes. But Sydney Grace, again, is a great formula. Mattes blend like butter. Shimmers are gorgeous. Shroud Cosmetics. And I'll spell that out. SHROUD. There's the Creepy Cute palette. So they used to be Strobe Cosmetics. So they have the Creepy Cute palette, which is a pastel palette. Latrina, we're going to go live on the second channel, on my main channel at 5. And we're going to talk about crafting stuff over there. So that's where those kind of questions go. The Arcana palette and the Divinity palette. So gorgeous, so smooth, so buttery. If you watch, those shadows just blended themselves. They were stunning, stunning, and just so easy to work with. So I would definitely recommend checking out Shroud. And that's the thing about it. It's like whenever I do a makeup video, I ain't got time to sit here and edit for days. I just don't. And I like to talk about makeup. I don't want to watch myself on YouTube. I hate watching myself, period. So the thing is, I like whenever you see me do a video, I pretty much trim the front, trim the back, join stuff together if need be. And that's about it. Not because I can't do more, well, I probably, but I don't like to watch myself. So, if things get repetitive or whatever, it is what it is. And the thing with it is, one thing I did want to mention is a lot of times these indie brands are beautiful and they're more affordable. Their prices are cheaper for the quality that you get is a whole lot better than what you get from your mainstream brands. Like for the most part, Too Faced. I have had so many misses from that brand for palettes that are $50. And then there are brands like Shroud that they're $35 to $47, and there wasn't a miss. So, I'm more willing to give my money to those small independent brands too, if that makes sense. Because they're doing it for the love of it. They're not doing it to please stockholders and shareholders. They're doing it because they love makeup. Absolutely love makeup, which I think is an important thing. But yeah, those are some of my absolute favorites. Yeah, Colleen, I would definitely recommend if you're looking at I would definitely recommend checking out Shroud. Their palettes are so good. And then what was it that I tried? Oh, Kaleidos. Their palettes are beautiful. Quality is great. I've also have some blushes and some highlighters from what I've gotten. Everything that I've gotten for the most part has been high quality, made well, and beautiful. I still have the 2 new ones, the Sashimi City and the Lunar Lavender are still on their way here. So I'm waiting on those. But they're so good. And I like small, little curated palettes. Now, those aren't my favorite. I mean, I have a ton of them, but those are not always my favorite. But the quality of the Kaleidos makeup is so good. So, so good. Another brand that I love is Glamlight. I have the Ice Cream Dream palette coming in. Now, I know it's a... Oh, thank you, Anna. But yeah, no, I have the Ice Cream Dream palette coming in. It's the pastel one. That's another thing my husband bought me. And even though I don't really wear pastels, I think that the depth that that palette has is something that I can do a lot with. And now I'm not sure if Be Perfect is an independent brand. I know that they're an Irish brand. Definitely check out Be Perfect. I wasn't sure about them. I saw several, like I wasn't going to buy the palette. I bought the Carnival 3. I love Tahiti palette. Wasn't sure if I was going to purchase it because one, it's a rainbow palette or a rainbow-esque palette with lots and lots of bright colors in it, which I have a million times over. I'm just like, you know, I don't think it can be that good. Oh my goodness, it was so good. And I've heard people talk about all the rest of them. So Be Perfect. I have a video on it. So good. I mean, like, I can't even... I mean, it's just stunning. See, Alinka, eyeshadow palettes are my favorite thing too. You know, I can take, like, foundation, as I said, most foundations work on me. Blushes, again, most things work. I don't have to be very particular over a lot of face products. I mean, no, there are some things that I just outright dislike. Like the BH Cosmetics, their foundation, used that and I was like, it was so bad on my skin. My husband was even like, that foundation looks terrible. And my husband won't say anything. But, I mean, yeah. So eyeshadows, I mean, and I know eyeshadows are probably a lot of people's things. Lunar Beauty, Manny MUA's brand. So good. So good. Like I have the Moonspell palette. Beautiful palette for fall. I mean, you can use it any time of the year. And I love that it's witch themed because, again, I'm a die-hard horror fan and I love Halloween. So, and then the liquid lipsticks, because I have 2 of them. I have the black one and the deep red one. Very good. The lip gloss is amazing. That's what I'm wearing today. And then the blush palette, the Moon Prism blush palette, is a beautiful blush palette. So, I mean, there are so many brands. And the reason why I wanted to do this was to kind of talk to people and letting, makeup is not always just found at Sephora and Ulta. And if you branch out, you may never, I mean, if you don't look for things, you may never know what you're going to truly enjoy. You know what I mean? Because I wasted so much money in the beginning of my makeup journey on stuff that I didn't know wasn't that good. I mean, because let's face it, where I'm from, whenever I was a teenager, whenever I started buying makeup, it was either CoverGirl or Clinique, because down here in Southeast Texas, if you had the green compact, because that's the color Clinique had, and it was like almost like it looked like green marble, like a jade kind of color, then that's what everybody wore. So I continued to buy that in my 20s, but then I would also buy, Max Factor whenever we used to have Max Factor and whatever else I could find at the drugstore. And I've always loved makeup. Now, I wasn't always good at makeup, but I've always loved makeup. I can remember, it's like I told my husband, my first paycheck from when I worked at Taco Bell, my first real job, I spent the entire thing at Walgreens in their cosmetics department. You know, I've always loved playing with makeup. Now, I wasn't always good. Again, that's where YouTube has kind of helped. But, you know, now I spend a whole lot more on makeup than what I did. But yeah, I mean, beauty brushes. Okay. BK Beauty. Hi, Simply You. The BK Beauty brushes. Lisa J, she's another YouTuber. She owns the brand. And I found it because Britt Clark had a bundle. And I love Britt Clark. And purchased Britt Clark's bundle and the Essential Eye bundle set. I haven't been able to put down that foundation brush. I literally wash it every couple of days in the evening so that way it's ready to use the next morning, because I don't want to put my makeup on without that brush because it is so good. Now, they're not restocking that till November because the 101 foundation brush is out of stock, but they are the softest, and they're vegan, and they're cruelty free, and they give back. So after I purchased those two sets, I was like, I love these. My husband bought me the Essential bundle, and then we also got the Kate the Great bundle and tried their sponge. Again, I am so, like, I have doubles of everything. I think there's only one brush now that I'm missing from the collection, and I just adore them all. Thank you, Alicia. I am loving the color. I don't know if y'all can tell. Yeah, like on camera, it's very hard to tell. If you look at my Instagram, you can see that it is bright red. Like, but it's like a burgundy red because that's the colors that work well on me. Red is like my favorite color for hair. And I don't know. Thank you, Alicia. That makes me, like, I don't know. I'm really enjoying it. And it feels like I lost 20 pounds worth of weight because losing all the hair. And it's still long enough that I can somewhat pull it up, which is important to me because I still like to have my hair pulled up. So, anyways, but those are some of my favorites. And again, I want to hear it from y'all and know which are y'all. Thank you, Simply You. Yeah, I chopped it all off because yesterday it was down to here. And my hairdresser, I always joke with her because I'm like, you know, whenever I come in here, it's going to be something extreme because I get bored and I change. I mean, and if you look back, like, I know on this channel, it's not like I haven't been on here that long, but like on my main channel, I've been doing YouTube for like 4 years now, and I've had my hair every length and not every color, but a lot of different colors. Because as I said, I get bored with the whole thing of it. Like, I don't really have bangs, but now it's bob. So, I mean, the hair was all down to here, and it's kind of stacked in the back, but it's not super short in the back. It's not as, like, I don't know about y'all, but like when the day I always get a haircut, and this has some product in it to kind of give it a little bit more volume, but I have baby fine hair. So like the day it's cut and colored, it doesn't like to keep any type of style. So, but yeah. But I mean, I just wanted to kind of get on here and do a little bit of live. I don't do them very often over here. And oh, Juvia's Place has some great ones. I have so many Juvia's Place palettes, it's not even funny. I'm waiting on my Sweet Pinks palettes coming. So I had ordered all 7 of the mini palettes. They had like a sale where I was able to get all 7 of the mini palettes for $70 or something. Shipped. And they shipped 6 of them. 1 of them was missing, so I'm waiting on it. But again, that's a Black-owned beauty brand. And that is one thing I do love to support is women-owned brands and Black-owned brands. Because I think it's important to get the name out there so people know. Because most of the mainstream cosmetics brands are owned by old white men. You know? Why is it that white men get to choose what's beautiful for women? You know what I mean? You know, it's what was it? I think it was L'Oreal, the guy who founded that. You know why? I heard this story and I was like, really? Do you know why he started the cosmetics brand? Because he thought it was tacky that women, when they went to light their cigarettes, had their lips and their fingernail color didn't match. I was like, really? Really? You know? It's like as a woman, you don't have enough to worry about, and now you're going to tell me how I need to wear my makeup. I need to be, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, yes, I can do a Juvia's Place palette next. I just did calling if you'll look. I have a video not that long ago over one of my favorites from them for fall. Let me see if I can remember the name of it, because I think it wasn't the Tribe, it's the Nomad. The Nomad. I have a video over it and it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So, trying to keep up. But yeah, I have a playlist for Juvia's Place. I'm slowly but surely editing my playlist. Oh, you want to know which brushes for eyeshadows? Hold on a second. I have a little bit of a problem with brushes. Literally, whenever I take and wash all of them, because I keep my stuff, because I own my business. Okay, so this is my shop. This is where I film from, because I have more space and I can leave all my stuff out, because since I film here, I always did my makeup up here. So that's why it's all set up the way that it is. But I can show you some of my favorites, because there are some good ones and there's some that the reason why. So it kind of depends on your eye shape and what you're wanting to do. But some of the most unique brushes. One of my favorites to use from BK Beauty is the 207, their pencil brush. It looks like this. It's very rounded. Great brush. The 207, the 202. So that is more of like, that's going to give you that diffused fluffiness. But because you see how it has more of that point, it really gets into the crease and helps keep the shadow in the crease. The little 204 brush, this is great for putting shadow under your eyes. Oh yeah, no, y'all don't realize how many brushes I have. It is astronomically crazy. Because this isn't all of them. I have even more over there on my vanity, and there's still, I think, 2 more things of brushes over there. Well, Alicia, so for me, this has been years in the making. Like, my business has taken a long time. I mean, and I still work full time doing the business stuff. But for me, my full timeness has changed. YouTube, for my business portion, takes up a lot of my day. And it's profitable. You know, that's what helps drive business to my stores, because we also do online and all that, you know, kind of crazy. But those are probably my 3 favorites that are the most unique from BK Beauty as far as eye brushes go. Now, Sigma, where's my Sigma brushes? Is that one of them? No, that's Morphe. Okay, and then like for Morphe and stuff like that, you see how tiny this little blender brush is? I love brushes that are small like this, that'll still diffuse shadow. So that's some of my favorites for keeping eyeshadow in the crease. And as you can see, I mean, I have a ton of really little brushes like that because they're great for that. Pencil brushes that are shaped like this. I've had this one from Too Faced for forever, but this is probably one of my favorites for applying highlight in the inner corner. So, and this has no number, but again, the shape of this brush is what's so unique about it. It's nice and pointed, so if you don't have a lot of eye space, it definitely gets in there. And then I have some brushes that are like, oh, Wayne Goss. This I got in a Beautylish bag. This is the number 20 brush. Again, it's one of those small blender brushes, but it's just, I like a small brush. I like something that's very precise. Now, don't get me wrong. To put on my first color, I almost always use the BK Beauty 201, which is just a big fluffy brush to apply color all over. But a small blendy brush, because I like to use a lot of colors, but I like them to fade together, you know. Well, Alicia, trust me, just keep on keeping on and you will get there. But yeah, I mean, like, you can tell some of these brushes. This is an old MAC brush. This is the MAC 252. I've had this forever. But it's still a great brush for applying a shade all over the lid. I mean, a flat packing brush like this one's stained yellow. This is the Cleona Cosmetics one. These are what I use on the daily to put a shimmer on my lid. Glitter glue and a flat brush like this, because I have chunky little short stubby fingers, so trying to use my fingers all the time for it, not always the best. But also like this little Morphe brush. So say you want to have some more transition and colors in here, you're wanting to really keep a dark color close, this size works really, really well for that. So that's all part of it, is playing with brushes. And not all brushes have to be expensive. You know, the BK Beauty ones are a little bit on the pricier side, but they're so good. And again, like a lot of my brushes, I've been collecting brushes forever. Like I've got everything from the Artiste brushes, super expensive, to, you know, Wet n Wild and Elf brushes that I've had for years. But yeah, I mean, like this is a Wet n Wild brush. This was $1. It still works good. I mean, this Wet n Wild brush mimics the MAC 252 quite a bit as far as shape, but I actually like the Wet n Wild shape better because it's a little more rounded. So I feel like that fits a little bit better in your eye socket. But yeah, I mean, it's all playing. And I buy brush sets all the time. Like I have literally, I ordered the BH Cosmetics, the Halloween collection, the 2 palettes. So when I ordered that, I went ahead and ordered the set of brushes that went along with it, the eye brushes that were like 20 bucks. That's kind of how I do it. I mean, like a little here, a little there. And I typically go for brush sets over buying individual brushes. I don't know why, because I know what I look for in individual brushes, but I like to get a new pretty brush set, if that makes sense. And I like to have lots of colorful, nice looking brushes. But yeah. But okay, so it's been 40 minutes over here. So I guess I'm going to cut this one short. End it here because I'm going live at 5 on my main channel. So we can talk about all the crafting stuff and getting ready for Christmas. Because it's been crazy. But I guess that's it. Don't forget to check me out on my social media. Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. I use Instagram the most, other than YouTube, because I actually enjoy Instagram, other than I'm still getting used to posting selfies. I feel very awkward. But I guess that's it. And we shall see you tomorrow. There should be some new fun stuff coming up over here tomorrow.